Some businesses succeed, some don't. Then there are those that seem to have been around forever. The true entrepreneurial success story. How did they do it? What was their vision? What makes a success? In this special episode for Eye on Annapolis, we speak with the true success stories, those business owners that have been around for decades, learn from their successes and failures. Now, here's host John Fernay.
Hey, we're up here overlooking the boat show's actually getting built here with Kevin Blonder, who is the owner of Buddy's Crabs and Ribs, which has been here 31 years overlooking Main Street, right?
That's correct.
And you guys, we're going to talk a little bit about Buddy's today, but you guys have many different restaurants in the area. You've got, I will say the Dough Roller in Crofton, but that's not what it's called anymore. It's
Big Fish Grill.
Big Fish Grill right on Route 3. You've got Yellowfin, of course, which is known for the best happy hours in town. I know we could probably get back and forth about whether it's got the best view in town or not, but it's got one of them for sure over there on the South River. And you've got, what, Fat Boy's Crab Shack?
And Crab House, yes.
Crab House?
Both. Fat Boy's Crab Shack and Fat
Okay, is that the one down on 301? And
the corner of 301 and
450?
450, yep.
Okay.
And the other one's on.
Used to be Jasper's way back when. Okay. But we're here to talk about Buddy's, and you guys have been a staple of Main Street, and you and your family, just the downtown business scene for so many years. For a while, you ran the Market House, but Buddy's has really been the staple here. And I remember way back when my kids were knee-high, and actually my middle child was in a cast. We used to ride up in your elevator.
I remember carrying her up the first time. Was it the hip or the leg? I think it was the leg.
She had a hip problem when she fell on it. But going way back, they've all flown the coop. But the Sunday brunch here was our go-to, and it was most affordable, brunch in town, the most probably comprehensive brunch in town. My son even actually worked here, slinging omelets
I was the first omelet maker ever back in 1988.
How did you guys get into this business, and how did this start?
Well, my dad was a developer, an entrepreneur, and everybody's dream in the early 80s, entrepreneur-wise, was to have a restaurant in addition to everything else, so they could take their friends and business clients to their restaurant. So it just evolved as that. We bought the building at 100 Main Street, I believe in 1976. And then it was a couple different restaurants. It was Annapolis Crab House. It was Key West Shipping Company. It was Harvey Smorgasbord. And then back in around 86...
Harvey Smorgasbord?
Yeah. It was an all-you-can-eat kind of like old country buffet.
Okay.
So I always liked the restaurant business. I was in the restaurant business at Annapolis Crab House when I was 12 years old, and I kind of grew up in it, and I always did like it. So when I was in college, my dad said, "Hey, what do you want to do when you get out of college?" And that was 86 or 87. I don't remember when. I said, "Look, I'd like to have a small sports bar because I played sports in college, and restaurant. I liked it." He said, "Okay, we'll take back the restaurant because we had leased it to a couple different people, and we'll make the corner location at 100 Main Street your place." And I've been here ever since. So even during college, I was here it opened in 88. I graduated college in 90. And every holiday, every break, I was back here working. And then when I graduated in 90, I've been here every day since.
Sort of like Jeff Jacobs over at Carroll's Creek. I know he worked from Towson. He was down there when his dad had that and did that. So you've really grown up in the restaurant business. What has Buddy's done since '88, since it came in here? How have you grown? I know that the dining room that sits, or I guess the private room, if you will, that sits off to the rear, that was an addition, wasn't it? Or
No, that was here from the beginning.
Okay.
And that's actually a separate building. The main building, 100 Main Street, ended on where the bar is. And then we have that behind the bar is the kitchen, the service area and the kitchen, and that was a separate building, but it was open the whole time.
Okay. And this, way back when, this is the A.L. Goodman building?
Aaron Lee Goodman building.
Aaron Lee Goodman. What was this originally?
ECC Murphys, a 5 and dime.
Okay. And downstairs, and you guys, I can't go without talking about Zachary's beneath us. And when they had their fire, which was about 4 doors up, or maybe 5 doors up, you guys were the first ones to say, "Hey, it's Christmas, it's holiday season, your busy time of the year, let's get you in business."
That's correct. My brother had a store down there, and that day we met as a family, my brother, my father, and myself, and said, "We got to give it to Steve Samaras." It's the day after Thanksgiving, which was Black Friday. That's when the fire was, and he was in business by that Monday.
It was phenomenal.
We moved everything out and gave him anything he needed. We gave him our construction crew to help him whatever he needed, and he was back in business.
I know we talked with Steve on one of these, and he was talking about just other jewelers were coming in with old cases that they didn't use anymore so they could help display. And obviously it's not the same store that it was on the Monday after Thanksgiving, but it's and it's been just a wonderful success for them since then. And I know you guys also were you were jollying on the spot with the Annapolis Yacht Club when they had their fire to be able to use that.
And we did the same thing with them as we called up, I can't remember her name, but asked her, hey, we'll move our restaurant out if you want to move your restaurant or the Annapolis Yacht Club in there during your construction period. And they said yes, and immediately we shut down and handed the keys over to them. And
yeah, I mean, there were some strings that the powers that be in the city hall had to make happen. I mean, there was something with a private license club and a public liquor license and open some crazy day. But again, this was you were able to allow a business entity in downtown continue on while they were going on. What's Buddy's known for? I mean, obviously the crabs, and for me, it's the breakfast. I don't do seafood, but the crabs is which you're known for. Everybody that comes to visit town is looking here for crabs.
Crabs and ribs, they're two items that normally they're summer items, but they don't go together. And we also had another hard thing to do is get somebody upstairs, get them off the street level up to the restaurant to see what it is, to get them to dine here. We've done a lot with the Naval Academy. We've done a lot with incoming freshmen, the plebes. If you name it, we've done it all over the years. We've had the wedding story here from TLC here twice. We had Kate and 8 plus 8.
Okay. John and Kate plus 8?
John and Kate plus 8 one time, and then we had Kate plus 8 afterwards.
Okay.
When they split up. But I mean, they've done different stories. We've had the president of a small country come in here before. We had a mock Bill Clinton come in here because when he was at the academy, they thought he was going to come here for dinner. So they scoped out the area, and you name it, we've had it throughout the years, in 30 plus years.
Now, is most of your business out of here on the restaurant? I mean, I know you do an awful lot of catering. Is mostly the restaurant what drives your business?
Most is the restaurant, but we do cater at the Naval Academy, the NAAA, and we do a lot of off-site catering. I mean, had a crab feast for 150 this last Friday night. A couple weeks ago, we did a tailgate for 650 people. So it's a little bit of everything that we do. We do. This might be going on the 10th or 12th year for Paul Reed Smith Guitars, PRS, their annual holiday party. We do a lot for Home Depot, different Home Depots, a lot for the Navy football team, for the lacrosse team.
I know I've seen a couple pictures of the Navy football team in the back room for, I guess, a breakfast before a game, a couple days before a game or something.
They've done that.
Like that.
They've done, they called me up when they had that the player die of that heart aneurysm and said, look, we need to get together as a team, both teams, the 150-pound team and the varsity team, and, kind of unite as a team again, show their support for the kid that passed away. And instantly, I without hesitation, yes, we'll do it. And the next day, we had a breakfast for 300 people.
Have your yeses ever gotten you in trouble? You seem like you're quick to say, yes, we'll do it.
You know what? Have they gotten me in trouble? I don't think they've gotten me in trouble, but it's been tough sometimes trying to manage everything that's going on. There's been times where I don't take parties and things like that because I know it just won't work. Mm-hmm. It's got to be right for the customer, the client, and it's got to be right for us, or I can't do it. Nothing can be one-sided.
I think that's a really good way to look at business because, I mean, if you have a party that's just not right, I mean, what's going to happen? I mean, you're going to walk away from that feeling like, okay, well, we didn't do our best. The customer's going to walk away going like, oh man, they sucked. And it's just bad for everybody. So, I mean, within 31 years, you certainly know what works and what doesn't work.
Right. And we know, and not everybody thinks this, but we're big believers in it. You got to give back to the community. If you don't give back to the community, you don't belong in the community. And we're the first, anybody from St. Mary's or local schools or whatever they need, a donation for whatever it might be, we give it. Because we know we have to give back to the community. And I'm happy to do it.
Well, that is. And I will say that sometimes that you guys have taken a lot of heat unnecessarily. And I remember there was a time when they were, you wanted to have a 2 a.m. license here. not so much to be partying until 1:59 a.m., but for that person that may be here late at night to be able to have a drink and just sit there and chill out for a half hour at 12:30 at night. And first and foremost, you're a businessman. You're here in business. You need to make a living for yourself and your family, and certainly provide for the employees. And how many employees do you have?
In the summer months, we have between 125 and 150, and they're local employees. They're local employees, local people, college kids, high school kids, people that have gotten their first job from us, and we teach them. They come back the next summer after they go to college. They become a waiter, and it's neat to see the kids grow up. Almost everybody, when they're in the area, they come back and two buddies, because we got pictures on the wall from 1989. We actually opened in 88. We didn't do a picture the first year. And they show their husbands or wives, and they show their kids, hey, this is where I was back then. And it's kind of neat to see them grow up. And, you saw them as a kid. Now they're a responsible adult, and it's neat to see.
It is. I will say I've got a couple connections here. I know that we've Monica and Adam, who used to work here at one point. Monica babysat for my kids at one point, and there was another.
Adam is still here.
Is he really?
He's still here. He's been here, I'd say, 25 of the years.
Oh my gosh!
25 of the.
I got to get up and say hello.
Monica's in Florida.
Okay.
She has two kids now.
You guys are such an economic engine for downtown. 150 people in the summer is crazy. That's a lot of people. And, you're putting in, you've got, how many do we seat in here? A couple hundred?
325 if we have all the seats out.
Okay.
In both rooms.
Okay. And you've also done something, and my son, who, as I said, worked here and now is graduated and up, and I'll argue the whole responsible bit on the adult part of it, but it's, I hear that the Friday and Saturday nights, the Buddies Late Night Club.
Yeah, we brought it back.
Thing.
And it's more, I'd say 80%, 85% is the midshipmen. And that's what we go after. It's only Friday and Saturday from about 10:30 to 1:30. And then we close it down, and it's just a DJ, and we got some neat LED lights, and they dance, they have a good time, and it's a nice, clean, safe place.
The rumor is that it's fun. That my son is up in Towson now, and he said that, he's supposed to got some friends that are down here, and they said, no, it's a good place to be.
Yeah,
it's definitely
and
done a really
the
good.
Main thing, it's safe. You don't have to worry about getting in a fight or anything like that, because we have so many of the midshipmen. They patrol and fleece themselves, and the shore patrol comes in here, just stands around, which is good.
That's one of the key things, is you want to make sure that you're safe. We hear about different fights that break out on Main Street, and that's, again, a key thing here that, where you are. You're right here in the heart of downtown, to be able to see it. Where is Buddies going from here? You got any expansions or any?
Well, we opened another one. Well, we had one in Laurel. We rented that out this year. A couple of years ago, they.
That was the old Red Lobster.
Yeah, we owned the shopping center.
Okay.
Yeah, and probably 10 years ago, Hooters came and said, "Look, we want this location." They drew an imaginary line, and happened to be the kitchen fell on the other side. So they made their own kitchen, and it was another empty spot that. We said, okay, we'll open up another restaurant. It was called Red Sky Steak and Fish House. And then part of that, we cut that in half and then opened up something called the Crab Deck. We have, like you said earlier, we have a couple different restaurants. 3 or 4 years ago, we opened one in Ocean City. We actually leased it out to the same person that rented the one in Laurel. And, I don't know where the expansion is. It's getting tougher and tougher in the restaurant industry, and as we get older, things get easier, but things get harder as well.
Is it really difficult to manage multiple restaurants? Now this Buddies is yours. This is your baby, your primary baby here. But and obviously I know since it's a family business, you're obviously involved in every other aspect of the business. But are you actively involved in Yellowfin? And
I'm not.
No.
If they need help for anything, any of the other restaurants, I'm always there to help them. If they have questions, hey, we need crabs because we got a couple different crab places, I'm there to help.
But the new chef that needs to be hired there is not going through you.
He's not going through me because we have general managers everywhere.
Okay.
And we don't want to interject ourselves in them. And we hired them for a reason, the general manager, and let them manage and do what they need to do.
Just as I watch the power boat shows come here, boat shows, are they good or bad for you as a restaurant?
They're good. It brings people into town. It does not bring the quantity of people it used to bring, but it's still good. Anybody in anything that can bring business downtown, that's what we want. That's what we need.
I was talking to Ryan over at Pip's Dogs, and he said, surprisingly, that the spring and the fall tend to be a lot busier for him than the summer, which sort of surprised me. But then he said most people will want to get out of the heat in the summer. to someplace that has air conditioning. Summer is predictably your strong season here?
It's good, yeah. I mean, the hotter it gets and the more rain you get less people moving around, and they might go to the mall if they want to go shopping because it's cool, like you mentioned. The summer's good, the fall is good, and then the winter's very slow. Not too much moving around because people go to the mall. They're conditioned where you can go to 300 shops instead of 25 shops and walk outside and have the park.
I prefer walking outside and bundling up and seeing what it is.
People like to get everything done at once. We're in a rushed society nowadays, and they just want to get it done.
And I also want to mention that you guys are also one of the first people to adopt into the Park and Shop program, and you guys will validate parking, and you've done that for years. I think you were probably the original business on Main Street.
I would say 25 years, I believe.
Yeah. And, if you're eating at Buddy's, you can pull into the garage. You can bring your... I don't know how they do it now. Do you stamp the tickets still, or do you give them...
No, we give them a voucher.
Okay.
So it looks very similar to the voucher they get from the garage. It used to be a stamp.
And they just push that in as far as...
They put their ticket in, then they put that in, and it takes the money off.
There's your $5 or $10 or whatever it may cost you, when you do here. What's your biggest meal as far as... is it dinner business, lunch business, the brunch?
It depends on the time of year, really. Okay. The brunch is still very busy. That's from 9 to 1:30 Sunday. And that's a buffet that contains probably 70 different items. Omelets made to order. There's seafood on there. There's
the beef. There's the
carved meats. There's
eggs Benedict.
Yeah.
Scrambled eggs. It's
all the breakfast items, and that's only $15.95. And actually, when we first started, it was only $5.95. Back in 1988 when we started it.
I think I came in at the $9.95 or something like that, and then
it went $5.95, $6.95, and everything went up. Hold on one second.
And I will tell you that one of the most surprising things that I've got here, crabs and rib house, and I don't do seafood personally, so I'd be stuck with the ribs. But your fried chicken is pretty.
It is
pretty on spot, which is something that many people probably don't know about.
It's actually done in a broaster, which is a pressure fryer. And that's what makes it taste so good. That's why everybody likes Royal Farms. They do it the same way.
I mean, it's a very moist, crisp on the outside. It's very, you bite into it. It's moist. It's hot. It's good. Surprisingly, if you're into the Royal Farms chicken, or if you're into any good fried chicken, I would say come to Buddy's here. One of the surprising aspects of it. Any other surprises that we don't know about? What don't we know about Buddy's that somebody should know about?
I would put our ribs against anybody's, and I'd put the crab cakes against anybody's in town. The ribs fall off the bone. They're slow cooked for 12 hours. You don't need a knife. They just fall off the bone. On
your crab cakes, is there any secret sauce, any special recipe? Is that what's, is that what?
We use broken jumbo lump and Ritz crackers. You have to have a binder in there. A lot of people use bread, or a lot of people use saltines. I use Ritz crackers because I like that nice buttery flavor.
Interesting. Okay. What's your best seller here?
Items?
Yeah, on the menu. What's...
Probably crab cake sandwich is number one. The cream of crab, Maryland crab, we won the Maryland Seafood Festival different times with each soup. They're excellent. If it's not decent, I will not put it on the menu. And I've gotten the menu it's a big menu, but it's very slim in the things that are on there, and it's done right. Everything is done right.
Change up your menu often? Obviously...
Once a year. Okay. Once a year. And I try 5 or 6 new things a year, and if they don't work out, we get rid of them. If they work out, we see what we can get done or get off the menu. And I do the menu for speed, because it's a quick place. We have a lot of tourists in the season, and I want it to be efficient. Not only cooking the item, but expediting the item and getting it out to the guests in a nice, hot fashion.
Well, that works for everybody. It turns over a table for you and a server. It gets the guest in and out, fed very quickly, and go from there as well.
And it makes it easier for the staff, that they're not running around trying to get that plate together. It's nice and compact, ready to go.
True. And as we roll into the holiday season, you guys are also a sort of a staple in the area for private holiday parties. You do have the one room that sits over the Sperry store, I guess?
Correct. More so market space.
Okay. And you're able to sit there. You've got a private room that seats probably 50 or...
It's actually 80 people.
Wow, okay. To do there, you can... there's different sections and whatnot. So this is a perfect space looking over City Dock for, a holiday party or...
Correct.
Wedding.
And we do a lot. We do a lot of holiday parties. We do a lot of rehearsal dinners in that back room. Now, the main room, we do a lot of company parties. Like I'll rent the whole restaurant out to any company, not any company, but again, if it's right for us and it's right for them, we'll do it.
Right. So my company of one probably doesn't stand a chance of.
We'll give you the table in the corner, and we'll make a party.
Yeah,
for
one table and a pitcher of iced tea. Here you go.
And I'll have my staff sit with you so you don't feel bad.
Well, I'll tell you, congratulations on 31 years down here in Annapolis. Congratulations certainly on all the other restaurants that are affiliated with you guys. Folks that haven't been here in a while, I do encourage you to try the fried chicken. Crab cake lovers, I would probably encourage you to give the crab cake a try and see what it's all about. The brunch, again, one of the best deals in town on Sunday, convinced, because it's the all-you-can-eat, sit-down, 2 huge long buffets, or whatever those are called in the restaurant business, just stocked with food, and the omelet bar.
And I'll tell you another thing that you probably never even thought of. We've been doing Thanksgiving probably about 28 years. We don't do any advertising, and we do about 1,000 people every Thanksgiving. It's
Really?
A buffet. All we do is a buffet. And if they want crabs, we'll do crabs. And we also do soup. Like somebody will come in and say, hey, can we just get a cup of soup because we're going to grandma's house afterwards? We'll do that. But it's unbelievable. 2 days a year we take reservations, Christmas and Thanksgiving. And they're both filled because we do buffets, and that's it on that day. Thanksgiving gourmet buffet and a Christmas Day gourmet buffet.
Really?
And it is unbelievable how many people... And it's all repeat business and word of mouth. And I ask everybody when they call to make the reservation, and I ask them, where did you hear about it? Well, my friend was there, or we've been here for the last 15 years. We've had parties of 60. They don't want to do it at their house because they can't do as much as we do.
Sure.
For as economical as it becomes. And there's no mess. There's no cleanup for them. And
No, you just got to waddle down the steps and
not waddle.
and get out.
Or we can take them down the elevator instead of waddling.
Yeah, no, I mean, and you don't leave here hungry either. I mean, with a buffet, when you do your buffets, they are all you can eat. And I always used to laugh on the brunch buffet. Somehow you see people come in here and you think they're eating their last meal. I mean, the plates are piled, 3 feet high, and they're struggling. I'm like, you can go back.
And they normally do. But then you get grandma who doesn't take anything, so it all evens out at the end.
That's true. Congratulations on 31 years down on the City Dock. Come on down, check out Buddy's. They do have actually a very nice bar, very nice. It's a chill bar. It's not a big rowdy bar to spend the night at. You can't beat the view. Watching Annapolis go by at the end of the night. Thanks very much.
Thanks for listening to this special podcast for Eye on Annapolis. Please be sure to visit eyeonannapolis.net for all your local news, events, and opinions. And in case you haven't already, please subscribe to the Eye on Annapolis Daily News Brief, where we bring you your local news direct to your phone or tablet every Monday through Friday at 7 a.m. Subscribe on iTunes or Google Play.